Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Afternoon, ma.
Oyinda Mola, Wura, Kidema, let's see who else we have. Antonia, I see somebody, is that what's for you? I see a name here, Jimmy Chu, is that what's for you? Good afternoon, Sharon. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to your group coaching session. Delighted that you could join us today for this group coaching demonstration. And my name is Patricia King. I'll introduce myself a bit more in a minute. But I'm just delightful that you could be here, that you're willing to share such an important topic with everyone and giving others the opportunity to learn from you. So as you see on the screen, our session today is about self-awareness. It's a topic that we're gonna have a deep dive into a group coaching session, and you've all come here today from different perspectives, right? You've all come here today with different takeaways from the session today. That's what group coaching is about. Let's proceed, and I'm just going to introduce myself to you. My name is Patricia Akinlason, and I'm a credential coach with the International Coaching Federation, and also a member of the board of ICF Nigeria chapter. And I'm a leadership and executive coach. I facilitate at our coach training institution, EZ Coaching, and I'm a director of EZ 2022. So that's me. We get about 2 hours together, and we can learn from each other. You can learn from me, I can learn from you, and that's the beauty of what we're here to do today. So without much delay, can I ask someone to introduce themselves? What we really want to know is your name, what your role is in your job, and an adjective that describes you, that starts with the first letter of your name. So your name and your role, and an adjective that describes you, that starts with the first letter of your name. So I would say mine would be particular, Patricia. I'm quite particular about things. I like details. So my adjective would be particular, Patricia. So who's going to kick us off?
Okay, I will go next. My name is Chidima Umahi. I work as a consultant with a consulting firm, EZ37 Solutions. And the adjective that describes me will be charismatic.
So charismatic, Chidima. Thank you so much. Who would you like to pass the baton to?
I will pass the baton to Oluwaseun.
Recording in progress.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can all see me and hear me.
I can hear you very well, thank you.
So my name is Oluwaseun. I work as an executive assistant. So the adjective I will use to describe myself will be optimistic. So I will say optimistic Oluwaseun. Thank you.
All right, can you tell us the adjective again, please?
Optimistic.
Right. Thank you very much for that. Who would you like to pass the baton to as we introduce everyone here on the group coaching section?
Okay. Antonia.
Antonia, thank you.
Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here. Sorry, let me leave first. My name is Antonia, and I'm a teacher. I'm also a head of school. How would they describe me? I'm a realist. I believe in things done the way it should be done. So I'm a realist. That's the word. Thank you.
Your name starts with A, and it'd be great to have an adjective that starts with A that describes you.
Okay. A. I am an action-driven person. I'm an action-driven person. Yes, I'm an
Great.
action-driven person.
So that would be
Thank
action-driven Antonia. Thank you so much
Yes.
for introducing yourself. And
Yes.
who would you like to pass the baton to, please?
Wasiu.
What's for you? Great.
Yes.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Wasiu. So wonderful to be here today. So Obidu Wasiu, the accountant at EZ Education Solution. And the adjective I will use to qualify myself will be wonderful Wasiu. Wonderful Wasiu.
Wow. Wonderful, Wasiu. Great. And you said that with a smile. Thank you so much for that. So who would you like to pass the baton to, please?
I would like to pass it to Uola. Yeah,
Yeah.
Uola, when they come.
Great.
Thank you, Wasiu. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Wuraola Melikam, and I'm excited to be in the meeting today. The adjective that describes me is wonderful. Yes. Thank you.
Wow. So we have wonderful Wasiu and we have wonderful Wura. Isn't that amazing? That's a coincidence. I actually have not had that before, and I've been holding a lot of group coaching sessions, so that's really, really interesting. Okay, Wura, who are you passing the baton to, please?
I'll say Oyidamola.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Oyindamola Ayo Ajiboye, HR consultant at EZ Education Solutions. And I would like to describe myself as being patient, yes, patient, and also composed Oyindamola.
Okay. So we're looking for an adjective that describes you that starts with the start letter of your first name.
Okay, an adjective, I'll say optimistic.
Optimistic. Wonderful. Great. Okay. So who are you passing the baton to, please?
I'm passing to Efe.
Okay. Wonderful. So Efe, we're hearing from you now.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Efe Ogundole. I work with Get Funded Africa, which is a tech startup, and I work in learning and development. I'm also a coach, and I'd like to describe myself as enthusiastic, but also empowered Efe. I'm happy to be here this evening.
Excellent. Enthusiastic, empowered.
I think everybody, I'm not sure if everybody has. The next person I would pass on to would be Oluwaseun. I'm not sure if she's introduced herself.
She has actually, she has.
Okay, so I probably was the last person then. So I pass it back to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And it's really wonderful. You know, I asked you all to select an adjective with your beginning with the first letter of your first name. And I didn't say only have one or two, and it's interesting because FH chose two. So that's the beauty of good coaching. It You know, we're all here, we don't know what's gonna happen, but you bring the best of yourself to the session. So it's really great that you could do that, and be here and introduce yourself. So now that we've all heard from each other, we got a sense of who's joining us today, let's have a look at our norms of engagement. Now, norms of engagement are you can call them a sort of principles that we like to put out there at the start of our group coaching session. And it just gives everyone a level playing field and helps you to understand the kind of environment we wish to create in which to have space, you know, and in which to be able to, you know, engage with each other. So that's really what the norms of engagement are. And they're not sacred change, you should add for them, you know, this is your session. So I'd like to volunteer, please, to use the norms of engagement.
Yes, so I'll go. The first one says bring a positive mood. Come with an open mind. Be ready to share so everyone learns. Raise your hand if you want to speak.
Okay, fantastic. So if we're all happy with these norms, may I ask you to do a thumbs up, with a thumbs up, a green tick, put a comment in the chat before we move on. Let's see. So a thumbs up, a tip, or let's see, we have one comment in the chat. Antonia, thank you very much for kicking us off. Who else is giving us some reactions? I'm looking for some reaction. I'm looking for a thumbs up, a green tick, a comment in the chat. Wura, thank you so much. So we've got about 7 of you here. We've had reaction from 2. Just so we know we're going into it together, right? With the norms that we're generally happy with. And feel free to add any extra norms if you wish. But I'm looking for reaction from at least 5 more people. Arina Mola, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. So we've heard from Wura, Arina Mola. Okay. Chidima. Okay. Chidima and Oluwaseun have given their reactions. That is wonderful. So thank you so much for doing that. It's really wonderful when you know, we clear on our norms of engagement, and then we can proceed from there. Okay, right. So let's look at what we're going to be spending our time together on today. We're going to look at your reflections. We have some key activities which we're going to talk about to bring to your group coaching today. We're going to look at what is self-awareness, you know, we're going to look at self-awareness, and it's such a huge area for group coaching. So it's really interesting. And I want to appreciate you for being vulnerable, because, you know, what we're saying today is being recorded and we're going to share it. So thank you so much again. Then we're going to look at strategies to improve your self-awareness. We're going to have a little bit of a break. We're going to have a breakout activity. We're going to revisit our learning outcomes, and then we're going to close the session today. So, I'm pleased to say that you've had an activity to do with your hands, and it's really to give you some insight, because this is a group coaching session and it's on self-awareness. It's a huge topic. So let's get some reaction about your individual activities. And I'd like to ask, what are the key points or lessons you learned from the quiz? So just get a few people to tell us. Anyone? Key points from the quiz? Unmute yourself and go ahead. Effie, your hand is up.
Sorry, I didn't get the question clearly, so I was actually calling to ask what
Okay.
you had asked in the first place. I
Yes,
wasn't
thank
clear
you
on
so
the
much for that. Yeah. So you all had the opportunity to do some pre-person activity, which was a quiz, a Tata Ulrich quiz. She's a renowned coach, and the quiz gave you the opportunity to find out a bit about yourself. So I'm asking what you learned from the quiz. Any feedback?
Actually, okay, I'll just go ahead since I put my hand up already. But from the quiz, I think it was just kind of like reflecting on some of the things that I felt I knew about myself already, or sort of like struck me as, okay, is this really true? In terms of the results, I had to send it to somebody else, and I'm not quite sure if I even got the results now, actually. So I'm speaking from just doing the quiz itself and how it went for me.
Mhm.
So it was kind of like it had some light bulb moments as in, oh, okay, actually, this is what you think and this is how you actually act in a real day. So it was interesting for me.
Mhm.
That's the word I would use.
Yeah. Yeah, well, thank you for that. There were things you already knew about yourself that what I'm hearing you say were validated in the quiz.
Yes.
Yes. And are you interested in getting the other part of the quiz? You said you had asked somebody to do the other part of the quiz. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, because at the end of the quiz, it did say you had to have somebody else sort of like send somebody else to do the quiz on your behalf, and then it will send you your results. So I'm just realizing that I haven't seen any results. So it's either the person didn't do it or it's gone to my junk mail and I didn't get it, but I haven't received the actual result. But I
Yeah.
would like to.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you so much. And who else did the quiz and would like to share the experience? What did they learn about themselves?
Okay, so all right. No, you can go. I'll wait.
Thank you. Sorry. So for me, I would say it actually helped me discover myself in a way that I actually know I am. I just from the quiz, I was able to really understand and see myself from a way that I've never actually thought of before. I came back as an introspector, and it makes me realize that I've never thought about it, I've never really looked at it, and having been able to see the different types of self-awareness that they have and seeing myself in the light that I did see myself actually helped me, and is a way to basically better myself and become more aware, really. At the end of the training, we're told that we should speak with the person that graded us, whoever it's that was part of the assessment, and get some feedback, which I plan on doing. I'm able to meet with the person and just basically become better in terms of being aware of myself, really. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm hearing you say that there were things you didn't know about yourself that you found out through the quiz.
Yes, please.
That's really interesting. And thank you for sharing that. I mean, as we go through the group coaching session, it may give you the opportunity to expand on that a bit more. But let's hear from a few more people that did the quiz, the Tata Ulrich quiz on Insight quiz. Let's find out a bit more. It tells you the quiz enables you to know a bit more about who you are. So who's going to go next? Who wants to tell us? It's a couple more.
Okay, I'll go next. So
Okay.
well, I think I was able to recognize my own thoughts and in regards to my behavior, like just trying to be mindful. Like the quiz also helped me to understand in terms of my strengths, my values as well. So the quiz was actually kind of helpful. And just like Oluwaseun mentioned, there are some things I don't know about myself that I just had to find out, and also just trying to send it to someone as well to also do it on our behalf. It's also really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. May I ask, did you get the results from the other person?
No, I did not. I just sent it to him and I haven't.
Okay, okay. Okay, and who else would like to share? Who did the quiz?
Okay, so let me share.
Okay,
Right, so I took the quiz and I actually thought I knew myself. I thought I knew my strength. I thought I was that person who really knew herself. But after taking the quiz, I saw the questions and I responded genuinely. By the time the result came back, I'm like, oh my God, is this really who I am? Like, I'm a pleaser, you know? And I took the result and then I had the reflection. I'm a pleaser. And I don't know if you were on the call yesterday. They said that I'm a caring person, probably because of the way I was responding and the things I was saying. I now had to like take a deep breath, take a back seat and said, okay, is this really who I am? Because I thought that I know so much about myself. I go out there, I get things done. That rather what I'm doing is trying to be safe, you know, trying to be that person. I don't want to offend people. And I think that a friend of mine had mentioned this some time ago that, you know, you don't really like people to be hurt. You don't like
okay, okay.
you know, you don't want to hurt people. So you love to please them. You want to play safe. So I think that's brought a lot of reflection, and I had to like, okay, so I think I need to work more to be more aware, to be in that place. Yes, you know, and not just be pleasing people, but also, you know, do some things for myself. Yes. So yes, that's what I got
Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for being so vulnerable about it and honest and looking at it like you're looking at yourself in the mirror. So thank you. So can we hear from at least 2 more people about the quiz, how you found it?
Okay, so for me, I think it really highlighted what I already know. Yeah, so that was what it was for me. It highlighted what I already know. But it was great to see that.
And may I ask, did you get the second person to complete? So you got a round of these?
Did I get what?
Did you get the other person, you know, you're meant to do the quiz and ask somebody else to do the quiz, who knows who you did. Did you get that bit done?
Yes, I did.
Great, great. So you got a balance view, what you think and what somebody else thinks. So there are no surprises for you then?
No.
Interesting.
No, not at all. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I think we have time to hear from 2 more. So 2 more people would love to share. That would be great. Who would like to go next? How do they find the quiz?
Okay, I'll share.
Please.
Okay, so I found the questions of the quiz very, very objective, and it was quite eye-opening to see, you know, how best to. The first part of the quiz was saying not to rate yourself in looking at yourself only in a particular space, but be very dynamic. You know, not as an employee, not as, you know, don't box yourself up and just give an overall review. And I really appreciate the questions that came up, and I found them to be very, very insightful. Like the name of the quiz is Insight Quiz. And it's a mirror, really. It helped me to see myself. And even before the results came in, I could see, okay, there were places where, yes, I tried to be a bit safe because of a number of things. And I see even personality kinds of plays out in some of the answers that I selected. And it was just very insightful for me to say, okay, where am I currently at? Where do I want to be? And I also got the feedback from my rater as well. And really the gap is there, and I see what I want to improve on, particularly in light of the questions that came up, because I want to take that quiz again in a couple of, you know, after this session or down the line, and see how much I've improved and how well I better, you know, do with my selection. So I'm looking forward to that. It was really good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And in fact, you use a metaphor. Metaphors are very, popular, if I may say, in coaching. You use the word, it was a mirror, you say, you know? You can tell us a little bit more about that, what you saw in that mirror as we go through today. But it's interesting that you say you'd like to do it again. And that's when we flesh out self-awareness, that's the whole beauty of self-awareness, getting to know who you really are and the growth that you experience from your own reflection. So, really appreciate you expanding on that. Okay, so I'm just curious, could we hear from Wasiu?
All right. So basically, I was able to carry out the quiz. I sent out to someone to also, rate me. But it's quite funny to me because this is one of the first time I'm having to do this. It came out funny. I was just like, when I look at the stages, the result, I was just looking at it like, right, yeah, I think this is what it is. This speaks directly to me, but then there's much more room. It's more or less like, maybe possibly because of my role, my field of work. Maybe that is why I'm finding myself in that situation. Because while I was looking at those questions, there was so much of personal thing that I'm like telling I said, I know, I'm sure I don't do this. I'm not this person. I'm not this person. So, and I want to be as much as be truthful to the response. So when I look at it and then the result came out, I was just looking at it and said, yeah, more or less like, oh, I'm not that person that is kind of open. I see myself as a seeker and I'm like, how did I get there? Wow. A seeker, which means I'm not really aware of my environment, internal and external environment. Like, so there's much more to be done. And I realized that at the point in time, I feel that maybe the result, when I look at the result itself, I feel that maybe there's some things people are not seeing. And maybe I don't like to get people see the real me. I'm not that open-minded person. I'm like my external environment, especially. So I thought, okay, well, I think there's always a room for improvement. Because literally, while I was asking those questions, it was more or less like direct. I have to be real with what I do. So, but then being self-aware, yeah, it's a good one to really know what needs to be done. And but it's an eye-opener. And like I said, it's a good one. I'm able to take that quiz, and then we can then focus on what needs to be done to change that, probably to something being aware, fully aware to the better stage of it.
Yeah, an eye opener, you said, another metaphor, it just shows that we're different. And that's the beauty about group coaching. You all come here with different perspectives, and you all learn from each other. And you've been so open, and you said, was that really me? Was that really you? You're asking yourself that question, and I'm pleased that it gave you a lot of insight. I'm really pleased that we've heard so much about how you found the quiz. So that's really great. So are we good to proceed? May I proceed? Can I go on? Yeah? I can't hear
Yes,
anyone.
please.
Fantastic, great. Okay. Thank you very much for sharing all that you can about that page. Now, the topic today is self-awareness. What is self-awareness? Have a look at the diagram, that's the image that's there. What matters most is how you see yourself. So the group coaching session today, this is the topic you all want to focus on, self-awareness. So has anyone had any experience of looking at self-awareness in the past? Just tell us and briefly, for yourself, what would you say is self-awareness? Would you like to put it in the chat and then we can read a few things in the chat? Just give me a minute to have a think of how would you describe self-awareness? How would you define it?
For me, I would define self-awareness as basically being aware. I don't know if I can use the word aware again, but basically recognizing your own personalities, having an understanding of who you are really, being able to I don't want to say conscious, but yes, it's being conscious of who you are, how you act with everybody. So you have an understanding really of who you are. You have an understanding of your personality, your thoughts and life.
So you have an understanding of who you are, here you say. Yes. So thank you for that, Joan. And we have some comments in the chat. What I'm saying, the ability to recognize one's thoughts and behavior. And what you're saying, being able to define your purpose and your direction. That's really interesting. Those two comments. I want to hear some more. Essay, knowing your why. Knowing your why. So, I asked, what is self-awareness? And Essay is saying, it's knowing your why. What she is saying, self-awareness is being able to define your purpose and direction. Let's have some more comments. Who has any comments? Would like to?
Well, I'll define
Oh,
self-awareness as understanding of self, knowing my person, I can almost predict my response in certain situations, being able to stand for who I am, know what I want, and just live in that understanding and live out what I've been able to internalize. So that's what I would call self-awareness.
Live out what you've been able to internalize. That's very interesting. These thoughts that you're all putting down, you're all coming up with, I'd encourage you to, if I may use words, internalize them, because when we go further in the group coaching session, you may want to tap into what's coming, your thoughts at that time. And Antonia, thank you very much. It is being conscious of yourself, your feelings, recognizing your strengths and your character. So all in all, it's quite interesting that you all have different definitions of what you see is self-awareness. And as we go further on, you'll be able to find out a bit more. And so the learning outcomes contribute, right? So at the end of this session, the learning outcomes contribute, identify areas of strength in relation to being self-awareness. You give your quizzes. We're going to do a deep dive into the group coaching session on self-awareness. And, we can hope that one of the outcomes that you'll be able to say you have been able to achieve, given what you wanted from today's session, is to identify areas of strength in relation to being a self-aware leader. You're all leaders here, and so that's the learning outcome of today. How does this learning outcome resonate with you? How do you feel about this learning outcome?
I would say great, and the reason is, for me, I think there's always you can always find strength in everything. And so I think that regardless of where we fall in the spectrum that Insight has put us in, there are definitely going to be strengths there. And so, while we can always look at what do we want to do differently, I think this session will help for us to take a step back and just appreciate the strengths that we bring to the table.
Thank you very much for that. And you use quite a few words that I'm sensing you're looking forward to recognizing and identifying strengths. What I've said is what I've said in line with what you just described.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that. Okay. So I have a video for you to watch, and this video is by Tata Ulrich. He actually is the originator of the quiz that you did. And so it would be great for you to watch this video, and then let me know your thoughts. I can play the video again if you want. So let's hear a bit more about self-awareness.
So what are 3 techniques?
Can I just check? Can you hear the video? Did you hear that?
Yes.
Yes,
I can.
please.
Great, great. Okay, let's do.
Or strategies to help someone become more self-aware. In the course of researching my book, Insight, one of the things we did was very exhaustively examine these people that we called unicorns. Now, unicorns are people that did not start out as highly self-aware as adults and made absolutely transformational improvements in their level of self-awareness. And based on the things they taught me, I can suggest 3 things. The first is really a mindset. It's to make the decision that I want to know the truth. That's one of the things in my book that I call braver, but wiser. Number 2 is simply to get more feedback. One of the things we see over and over again in the research on this is that other people can usually see us far more objectively than we see ourselves. The third tool is a little bit counterintuitive. A lot of times when people try to become more self-aware, they ask themselves why. Why did I do this? Why do I want that? But what my research has found pretty shockingly is that those questions don't result in any more insight. So the tool I recommend is called What, Not Why. So instead of asking, for example, why did I say something so mean to my husband? You might say, what do I want to do to change our relationship? One person that's a great anecdote of what happens when you improve your self-awareness is an executive I worked with a few years back. Let's call him Steve. And although Steve thought he was pretty amazing, he was doing a terrible job of leading that function. His people were intimidated by him. He would start yelling and screaming at them with the slightest provocation, and he clearly had absolutely no idea how he was coming across. And once we went through that process of getting feedback from his team, understanding the things he needed to work on, things like asking questions, showing empathy, being compassionate, things that he had completely missed in his career to date, Steve was able to completely turn around not just his own performance and not just his team's performance, but the way his function was performing from both a sort of work attitude and a morale standpoint, and also, probably more importantly, bottom line business results.
Would you like to watch that again, or are you good to go?
Watch again,
I'd
please.
like us to watch again, please.
Again?
Yes,
Thank you
please.
very much.
So what are 3 techniques or strategies to help someone become more self-aware? In the course of researching my book, Insight, one of the things we did was very exhaustively examine these people that we called unicorns. Now, unicorns are people that did not start out as highly self-aware as adults and made absolutely transformational improvements in their level of self-awareness. And based on the things they taught me, I can suggest 3 things. The first is really a mindset. It's to make the decision that I want to know the truth. That's one of the things in my book that I call braver, but wiser. Number 2 is simply to get more feedback. One of the things we see over and over again in the research on this is that other people can usually see us far more objectively than we see ourselves. The third tool is a little bit counterintuitive. A lot of times when people try to become more self-aware, they ask themselves why. Why did I do this? Why do I want that? But what my research has found pretty shockingly is that those questions don't result in any more insight. So the tool I recommend is called What, Not Why. So instead of asking, for example, why did I say something so mean to my husband? You might say, what do I want to do to change our relationship? One person that's a great anecdote of what happens when you improve your self-awareness is an executive I worked with a few years back. Let's call him Steve. And although Steve thought he was pretty amazing, he was doing a terrible job of leading that function. His people were intimidated by him. He would start yelling and screaming at them with the slightest provocation, and he clearly had absolutely no idea how he was coming across. And once we went through that process of getting feedback from his team, understanding the things he needed to work on, things like asking questions, showing empathy, being compassionate, things that he had completely missed in his career to date. Steve was able to completely turn around not just his own performance and not just his team's performance, but the way his function was performing from both a sort of work attitude and a morale standpoint, and also, probably more importantly, bottom line business results.
So what was standing out for you? Anyone would like to share?
Yes, so for me, it was two things. One, when she spoke about the unicorns, being people who may not have started out as self-aware, but were able to make that choice to become more aware. So that for me really shows that, as humans, we're evolving, and, we can evolve to where we seemingly want to be. Also, the what's not why questions, I think it's something that I know, and just seeing that, seeing it again is just great. So yeah, moving from being the victim to almost seeking clarity and seeking for what to do differently. I think that's absolutely phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Thank you so much. And like you said, rather than just becoming to be the victim, we want to find out a bit more about the situation. So it's interesting that's what came up to you. Let's hear from others. Let's hear from a few more. How did that video resonate with you?
Well, I would say that what I gleaned from the video was that one of the critical things for self-awareness is more external than internal. This is what I mean. All the steps that she mentioned, you wanting to know the truth, yes, you can do that internally. But the second one, saying ask for feedback, get feedback, is, as you interface with other people, interact with the earth, you leave, and as you leave, definitely in your interactions, there are positives, there are negatives, and you cannot be in a limbo thinking that, oh, you're 100%. So in wanting to know the truth, you're interacting with other people. Getting feedback is hearing their perspective of who you are, and you have better insights, and you are better aware of your person. So that for me is quite insightful.
That external piece. It was what resonated to you.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, thank you so much for that. And I noticed that Esther has a hand up.
Yeah, I forgot to put my hand before I tried to answer the question earlier. So for me, I think it was really just knowing that sometimes we do things and we don't actually know why we do them. And if it comes to being a leader or even in our everyday life, it helps to kind of understand the reason why you do those things and why you come across as that. Like, we all have different perspectives, and it's that choice of understanding somebody else's perspective. Like when she spoke about the leader, and she said he thought he was doing an excellent job, but obviously he wasn't. And if he had probably gotten some feedback, that might have helped. So that's what resonated for me.
Yeah. Again, that word feedback keeps coming up in different formats. Let's hear from one more person before we move on. Who'd like to share what that video meant to you, how it resonated with you?
Yes, I believe for me, it's the ask what and not why. And it's actually great whereby if you keep asking on what, you will be able to identify what you need to improve on. And she also made examples. And so for us to even know ourselves more, we should just ask what and not why. Yes, thank you.
For you to know yourself more, ask what, not why. Okay, wonderful. All right, so thank you so much for sharing that. There's a lot of insights there coming through from you. We're going to go into a breakout session now. All right. And what you have to do is quite simple. The objective of your session today, of your group coaching session today, is to identify areas of strength in relation to being a self-aware leader. Now, given that objection, in your breakout session, the question I'd like you to answer is, what would you like to take away from the session today? Okay, so I think we have about another hour and 15 minutes. So, what would you like to take away from our session today? And what makes that important? Any questions before we go to breakout?
None from
None, okay. All right. So the breakout session is going to be 10 minutes. And then when you get back, you may not even need up to 3 minutes, a couple of minutes. But we'd love to hear from you on these two questions. What would you like to take away from today, given the objective we have responded to there? And what would make that important? So we're ready to go to breakout. Florence, can you please take us to breakout? Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Well done. So you'll see a prompt on your screen right now. So if you could please just join the rooms you've been assigned to. Can we all see a prompt on our screen?
I don't see what's you on here. Please, which breakout room is received when you enter?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think everyone's going to breakout. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for taking that time out. So let's go with let's start with part 2. In part 2, we have Effie, Wasiu, Chidima, and Sean. So what we'd like to know from you is, what would you like to take away from the session today? And what makes it important? Who's going to take us for the first question, please?
Okay, so I will. And in our poll, we had quite a couple of, each person had different things they wanted to take away from the session, ranging from strategies for becoming a more self-aware leader to appreciation of strength, and finally being able to define both internal and external activities that would enable one to move from where we are now to where we seemingly want to be. And it's important because it helps us appreciate and tap into our strengths, knowing what to increase and what to decrease. It also helps in being able to change perspectives. So that's it from our end.
Okay. So what part 2 would like to take away are strategies to become a more self-aware leader. So we'd like to know what strategies to pick up on. Being aware, being able to define external and internal activities from where you are now to where you want to be. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Great. Was there anything I missed out from what you said?
Yes, an appreciation of strength.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's a takeaway.
Yes.
Great. Thank you so much. Okay. So in part 1, we had Tonya, Mura, and Orange. So who's going to speak on your behalf? What would you like to take away? And what makes it important?
Okay. I'm the one that's representing my pod. So basically, the three of us had the same mindset, same thinking. We all want to be more self-aware. That is what we want to take away. We want to be more aware. At the end of this session, we want a mirroring of ourselves where we can say, okay, yes, we are now more self-aware. And it's going to help us in our choosing endeavors to improve in ourselves and not to be more, to have a balance, not to be more internal or more external, but to have a balance of both. And then for us to have a better understanding at the end of this session, we want to have a better understanding of ourselves, who we are, and what we want to achieve. Okay, so why is it important? It's important for us because there is more for us to achieve in the future. We're looking at the future. So being self-aware will help us to see people in a different light, to understand people more, and to know that we have to seek clarification, we have to ask questions, we have to ask what and not why, you know. So and then it's also important because it will help us to understand and to have the strategies on how we can improve on ourselves and how we can be more better. Then we're more positive about the future. So it's very important for us because we're more positive about the future, what the future holds for us. So yes, we are on the same page. Thank you.
Well, that's interesting. And we all were on the same page. We've not met each other before. And that's
Yeah.
synergy, isn't it?
Honestly, yes. Coincidentally, yes. That's what happened now. Yes.
So what I heard you say was that for part one is that what's important. So what you'd like to take away from today is that to be more self-aware. You actually want to have it as an accent. A mirroring of yourself, you said. You use that metaphor. And I heard what I used earlier. A mirroring of yourself where you can say you are self-aware and you want a better understanding of self. And it's important, you said, because there's more to achieve in the future, I heard you say. And you want to see people in different lights, and you want to understand people. So you want to be asking what, not why. Does that capture everything you said?
Yes, it does. Except my team. It captures everything, right? Ura and we.
Does it?
Yes, it does. I'll just add that what will be critical for members of my pod would be we have established what we have identified what we want to improve on. I think the next thing will be how do we make the improvement? So that will be one of the key takeaways for
how to what? Right.
How to improve.
Okay. So the how. Yeah. Okay. Well, the wonderful thing about coaching, as you all know, is that you all have the resourcefulness within yourself to arrive at what you want to take away today. And the whole beauty of the session is that we're gonna give you the chance to learn from each other. We're gonna do some proper coaching, deep diving. You've given us some meat, as I say, meat and potatoes. So let's see what we can do with it. And that's what we're going to do. But before we do that, I'd like you to have a break. Anyone ready for a break?
Yes.
Great. All right. Wonderful. We're going to give you a 10-minute break. And Florence is going to give us an instruction before what we need to do before we go to break and what we need to do after as soon as we get back from break. The break is 10 minutes. We will start promptly in 10 minutes. So you don't want to let your pod members down. You want to be here. You came up with some objectives. You want to be here to get that coaching evidence from it. So I hand over to Florence now to take us to the break.
Okay. Hello, everybody. So we're going to be going on a 10-minute break now. And I would like everyone to put up their teacups for the duration of the break. And when we come back, we can put down the teacups. If you do not know where to find the teacups, at the reaction, just go through the reaction down there, and you will see teacup just above the. Thank you very much, Oluwaseun. Thank you, Chidima. Thank you, Buraola.
Sorry, where did you
Thank
say the
you.
teacup is? I didn't get that clearly.
It's just above grade, and if you go to reactions,
Okay, sorry.
can you see it now?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
It's on the top left hand. Is
Okay.
that?
Yes, I can't see. Is that Antonia?
Yes.
I can't see it on your. If you go to reactions, can you see reactions on your screen?
Welcome back, everyone. If I could ask you to put your teacups down, take your teacups down. Can I just get some reaction and everyone's back on break? If you're back from break, can we hear you?
I'm back.
Wonderful, excellent. Thank you so much. Okay. So in part 2, actually, one of the things that came out of part 2 is an appreciation of strength. So can you tell us, where are you now in relation to that? Who else have we got here from part 2? We have Chidima, we have Sean. Chidima, would you like to tell us, where are you now in relation to an appreciation of strength? What's happening now?
Okay, so for me, I think I would say that I'm not there yet, in the sense that I appreciate my strength. I am conscious, I recognize the strengths that I bring, or that I have, and how it can translate. But sometimes, as with a lot of things, you're really just more focused on, oh, where do I want to improve and all that. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd actually say about a 6.
6. What has enabled you to recognize that you are a 6?
Sorry?
What has enabled you to recognize that you are a 6?
The report, right? So, I earlier mentioned that the report it wasn't anything new. It was a confirmation of what I knew already. And so what the report did for me was, and when I looked back again and looked at the qualities of the quadrant I fell into, which was introspective, I was able to see that, okay, there are a couple of things that I'm well aware of, critical thinker and all that. So yeah, seeing that, maybe that, okay, with regards to appreciation of it. So it's something that I know, right? But I don't think I've ever looked at it like as a strength. And so that made me take a step back and look at, okay, so this is actually great, because when you're someone who is critical at thinking, then you are prone to making right decisions at best.
Mm-hmm. But you mentioned that it's something that you knew about yourself.
Yes, it is.
But you gave yourself a 6.
Yes, I did.
Would you like to say anything about that? Is your 6 telling us a little bit more about where you want to position yourself in terms of how you see yourself?
Okay, so yes, I said that's something I knew about myself. Like, I know that I'm someone who generally reflects and really critically thinks about things, right? And so I gave myself a 6 because I think I do not, with regards to appreciating it as a strength, I don't think it's something that I have really really looked at before the report as a strength. So getting to see it in the report as a strength made me take steps back to say, okay, this is actually great. And I was able to now sort of analyze the things that I seemingly critically think about and see that, okay, these are things that, if I hadn't thought about this, could I have made the wrong choices and all that? So almost like made me appreciate the choices I make, especially the ones that are seemingly right, and attribute it back to the fact that I critically think about it and I'm conscious about it.
I'm hearing you say that the report brought it to the forefront.
Yes, it did.
And what you were talking about, is this really me? Earlier, and you were looking, you sounded like you were looking at yourself, and in the report, that the report seemed to have given you a bit of surprise about yourself. So where are you generally? Where are you now in relation to understanding the strategies that would make you a more self-aware leader? Where are you in that when?
Okay, so for me, like I mentioned earlier, sometimes when not that you may not be self-aware of your ability or what you do or how people perceive you, how you see things, not that you're not doing better, but then probably you might be looking at the picture in a different perspective, and sometimes you may say, okay, this is who I am. You tell people, or people see things, and you think that, oh, this is how they see me. I think I'm doing well. Yeah, I think I'm moving a step. But then you begin to see things, maybe as a result of this, you begin to look at it another way around. You say, you think you're not there yet. Probably you might have looking at it from a different angle. So, I mean, from those, when we talk about strategy, for me, I think there's more to be done. I just put it like that. There's more to be done. And like I said, I would have imagined maybe there should be a way where we want to look at this, probably in terms of, okay, people are different, and then you don't expect them to, align, because when I was looking at the results, one thing stood out for me is saying, okay, maybe people must have misunderstood you, how you, probably the way they see you, and that may not be who you are. But then, do you want to let them know who you are? You want to, be different, or you want to create a different impression about who you are to them? Definitely, that means you are not even getting closer to them. So my strategy this time around is, I was looking at this, so try to get more closer, be open, ask for feedback, and get to ask what you think. Not really why are they, not having to be in a bad position and say why do they see this like this? Why is this happening? So asking that question. What do you think? What can we do? What can I do better? Those questions will be able to get people to open up to you, to get to see you more better. Then be intentional when you're taking those. One thing I've learned is, when you are being brave and you are open, you want to take those decisions that gets the truth out of you. Get the truth so that you can get the real truth from people. So you need to be intentional about it.
Okay.
So those are two things. One of the strategies I want to keep open up right now. So when it's just not like asking what you think. So that's more or less like a feedback. That's it for me.
Yeah. It's essay back. I just want to check if it's back. The feedback. Because I told her earlier, but I didn't hear. Okay, essay. One of the things you talked about was the what's, not why. And I'm just curious to know, where are you in understanding about yourself, the what about yourself, and not the why? Where are you in that spectrum?
I think one of the things that I know personally is that the what is doing things sometimes to be like a people pleaser, more of what you want people to do. Why am I, as in what will make me do it is because at this point in time, it would probably be easier for everyone, or it's the better thing for everyone. Not necessarily that it's going to work out in the best situation, but just to, let's say, not confrontational and the easy way out, which is the what. But as a person, like why do I do that? Is it something that tells me because I was from a young child, I was always told that, oh, people are important? It's important to make people happy, or is it because you want people to, it's something that definitely makes me want to do that because it's probably a way I think people perceive me to be. So I keep doing things the same way. So for me, that's kind of like, yeah.
So the way people perceive you to be, and we keep doing things the same way. When you hear yourself say that, what's resonating to you?
That sounds like being a robot because you're just doing things like, okay, this is how it is, but not reaching your full potential or doing things in the best possible manner. So that's what comes to mind.
So as you hear yourself say that, you don't see you're doing things in the best possible manner. What are you learning about yourself?
It just tells me that a lot of times you allow the world's perspective to affect everything that you do. And you're looking at it, you're not actually looking at it, you're just going forward in the same way without actually putting all your heart and mind or understanding the whole essence of what you do and what would happen or the ripple effects of everything that you do.
I'm hearing you talk, I think we're talking in the third party. You are talking about yourself.
Me. All right. So I think in my situation, it works and it makes everything okay, but I think there could be, it's sort of like suppressing who you really are or who I really am, suppressing that in terms of being a better person or doing things a better way, just so that things move on the way they're meant to be. So it's a lot of, it's like bottling up things and then, suppressing the real you sometimes, the real me.
So I'm hearing you talk about suppressing the real you as a result of the discussion we're having today. Would that be correct?
Yeah.
And in your pod, Cheryl was also in your pod. And Cheryl, I'm really curious to know, one of the things that came out of your pod was being able to define external and internal actions, right, in relation to self-awareness. So where are you now in your understanding of being able to define what is an external action, internal action as far as your self-awareness is concerned? Where are you now?
Okay. Was that me or?
No, I'm asking Cheryl now. Because one of the things that came out of your pod was actually being able to define external and internal actions as far as from where you are now to where you want to get to. And I'm asking Cheryl, where are you now in that understanding of yourself about where you are now compared to where you want to get to? Where are you on that, if I can say that, barometer?
Thank you, Coach Patricia. Please, can you all hear me?
I can hear you.
Hello. Thank you. So, where I am now, I would say if I'm to rate myself, I will be about 5. Average, really. My trying to balance up the internal self-awareness and the external self-awareness, still trying to both at the right level. So I'm not thinking I am something and then the other person is seeing me as a different thing entirely. So as much as I want to really continue to self-introspect, try and become more self-aware, I still need to really open myself up to feedback, basically like what has been mentioned, getting feedback to ensure that as much as possible, I am. So like I think Bura mentioned earlier that she would like to take the test again. So for me, I think that's one thing I also like to do again. After this session, about a couple of months, really haven't been able to put everything I've learned today into action. And then the feedback from my rater, putting all of that together, I feel like come the next session, I'll be able to at least put myself higher level compared to where I am now. So for where I am now, I would say I'm at a 5.
Okay. So you mentioned put yourself at a higher level. What would that higher level be? How would you recognize that higher level?
Well, like I said, being able to take the test again, take the quiz again rather, and really seeking feedback So the feedback from both my colleagues and people outside of me, because I believe that if I want to have a critical feedback, really, I have to just not take it just in the professional setting, but outside of the professional setting as well. So how the people outside of my workplace see me, I would also like to see that as well, because yeah, the professional setting can tend to like put you, I wouldn't call it a box, but outside of you in such a way that it's all balanced. Of my internal self-awareness is balanced. My external, my internal is
We have a bit of technical delay. Am I the only one noticing that? Is anybody else noticing that in sound? Is anyone else
Yes.
noticing? Yeah.
Yes, we
Okay.
noticed that.
Okay. Okay. Well, I think we got the crux of what you're saying. I heard you say that in order to move from where you are, which is the question I asked you, how aware are you of where you are and basically where you want to get to? You said you want to take the test again. Warrior said you want to take it again, and you said you want to take it again, and it seems like you want that to happen for you to be able to know whether you've moved across. And when I asked you how you would know when you got there, you said by the results of the test, by the results of the feedback. So thank you very much for that. Now, Wura, you used the word mirror. And in fact, one of the things that came out of your report was, Antonio was giving the feedback and said, a mirror of yourself, where you are. That word mirror has come up now a few times. And I want to ask you, Wura, where are you in that mirror? Where do you see yourself in the mirror? Where do you see yourself in that mirror?
All right, thank you so much. Well, I would say that when I got the results for my quiz, I was surprised. So the things that made me surprised was I would have thought that maybe I was more of an introspector or a pleaser, but I'm surprised that I am aware. So what came up for me is that I think what I've been able to see about myself is I hold back, or maybe I don't give myself credit for the things that I actually have, that I possess, or that I do. I don't give myself enough credit. So I think self-awareness for me now would be to properly esteem myself, give myself the due credence that I'm due, because if I am aware, and I don't think I'm as aware as I actually am, then there is a gap. There's a void that needs to be filled. So it's critical for me to find out, why am I not exuding the confidence that I have? Why am I not breaking out of my shell? What's holding me back? So that for me is what I want to unlock in the days ahead.
Yeah. When you said the word typical, I almost felt something critical. I felt a bit of emotion there. Critical, you said. You almost divided the word typical into CRI. And I want to know from you, what emotion were you feeling at that time?
Well, I would say it's confidence, really, confidence. Confidence, that's what it is. That's how best I can simplify it. See myself the way I truly am. And just give myself that, esteem myself at the level that I am. So that's critical for me. Yeah.
Yeah, and I still want to thank you all for being so vulnerable, because we are talking today about areas and identify your areas of strength in relation to being a self-aware leader. And I'm just curious also to know from Oyin, one of the things that came out of your thoughts was, can you say who you are? Or should I just repeat that? Sorry. Can you say can be more self-aware? You know, can you actually be more self-aware? That's one of the things that came out of your thought. And I want to ask you, when you hear that question asked of you, what comes to your mind? Can you really be more self-aware?
Okay, so when I hear the word self-awareness, so what comes to my mind is being able to recognize myself more. And in terms of also where I need to improve on. So presently, I would also say that where I am at the moment is just trying to improve on myself. And also, even if I get a feedback, probably in terms of my weaknesses and my strength, I should also be able to work on my weaknesses, like, okay, I've been able to identify this. And even if I get a feedback, it should not really weigh me down, but just to be able to try to work on myself. So, and I think I just have a lot to do about myself, just really putting more learnings to improve on myself. And yes, so I've actually been able to identify that about myself, yes.
You've been able to identify about yourself that you need to put in more learning.
Yes, yes.
So what enabled you to be able to identify that?
Okay, so though aside from this self-awareness coaching section that we're having, there are times whereby I also sit back to even recognize what I've been doing and also just have like some thought as well, being able to recognize what I'm really doing, like just try to reflect back. And I just see that, yes, there are so many things I really need to work on and also to be able to get to where I am going. So there are times whereby I just sit down to, you know, just to be aware. And there are times whereby I just get feedback from my closed ones, like just try to give their feedback about me. And I believe the only thing I'm left with now is what I need to do to improve on. And that is why I like the question on you need to be able to ask what, not why. And just, you know, keep asking yourself that, okay, what do I need to do to get things more better? What do I need to do to be able to do things differently? And even after asking, I also need to be able to put things in action and also see that, okay, yes, if I'm saying that I need to improve on, let's say, in terms of communication, what am I doing in that aspect? If I need to see that, okay, I need to improve on this, what exactly am I doing? So yes, so I think I've just been able to recognize that.
Yeah. Again, you know, as you're speaking, you know, you were expressing yourself in ways that demonstrated that I sense a hunger in you to learn about yourself. Would that be right? Yeah.
Thank you.
And you know, Tonya, as you sit here and you hear this, you know, you're hearing people say, Mira, you know, you heard what you speak about, you know, he's surprised about what he found out about himself. Does he really want people to know who he is? Yes, he wants people to know who he is. And lots of other descriptions that everyone has come up with. The question I want to ask you is, where are you, Tonya, in understanding yourself? You know, one of the things that came out of your pod, the question we asked you, you said, you know, in response, you know, you said you want a better understanding of yourself. And so where are you now in that Richter scale in terms of a better understanding of who Tonya is?
Okay, where am I? I'm not there yet. And that's the reason why I decided to enroll for this program so that, you know, I can get better. Something happened to me that made me start second guessing myself. So when I even saw those questions, I think, and in all honesty, I would join those that say we need to take the test again. After the whole session, we want to retake the test so that we can actually assess ourselves from where that's how we can actually measure our growth, our progression, and where we are after this whole program. So something happened to me that made me start second guessing myself. So, and I think that is also what informed the result I got. Let me say 4 months before now, 5 months before now, if I had taken that test, I would say I am aware of myself. So the result that, came out showed that I am not aware. And I attribute it to something that happened to me that made me start second guessing myself. I have known myself to be a very confident person. I've known myself to be able to communicate. I have known myself to solve problems, think critically. There's an issue, I think it, and the problem comes, and it's done. So when this thing happened and I started second guessing myself, I'm like, start affecting me mentally. I said, this is not me. So when the opportunity came, I quickly grabbed it because I knew that from this session, I will rediscover myself. I will be more aware of myself. The confidence I had that I'm trying to build up again, I will, by the grace of God, build that confidence. So where I am now, I am in a place where I want to know more. Who am I? I want to know more. I want this whole session to bring out that person in me to say, okay, yes, this is who I am. But 5 months ago, I will tell you categorically, this is who I am. Critical, confident, bold, just bring it on. But today, I won't say that because I got to a place and I want to rediscover myself. I want to rediscover myself. So it's spot on. The insight test, spot on. I would like us to take it again after the whole program. I really appreciate what's going on. I really appreciate the collaborations that we're having. It's also making me like, okay, you can actually come out and be that person that you've always been. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I can only thank you for the expression of yourself, really, as you see yourself today. And you're thanking me for the session, and thanking all of you for the session, and thanking for all of you from the bottom of my heart, because this is what group coaching is about. You all coming here with different perspectives about what you want to take away, and as we hear from everybody, where you're recognizing that, hang on a minute, what that person is saying resonated with me. It was Mura who said, I'd like to take it again. And it's almost like she's gone around giving everybody a cue. So suddenly she now has a bandwagon of people around her. So at the end, Mura, you may have everybody saying they want to take it again. So we might do a Mura test. We might change the test from Tara to Mura. So give it the awareness. You've all expressed so much awareness about yourself in terms of what you're finding out about yourself, what you didn't know about yourself, what you're surprised to find out. When as Tonya said, with such passion, if we'd asked her this question a couple of months ago, she would have been, this is me. But now, Tonya wants to look at Tonya, he wants to find out who she is. So can you put in the chat 2 options that could support you to 2 options, 2 things you could do to achieve what it is you said you want to take away to? What are the 2 things you are willing to do? So could you put that in the chat? I'll give you a minute or 2. Take a moment to think. What are the 2 actions you need to take? So maybe you to do what you said, to fill that gap you described, to match up with your awareness, or to create more awareness.
Are you able to repeat the question? I definitely missed it.
So why don't I put the question in the chat?
That would be great. Thank you.
And I said, list 2 options you wish to take to enable you to identify your area of strength. 2 actions, 2 options, or 2 options. Okay, so as they're coming in, I'm just gonna read them out and ask a few questions. So Esther, you said, have a discussion with at least 2 people who are close enough to me and ask them to share their perspective of my strength. So you want to have 2 people who you feel are close and for them to share their perspective of their strength. Now, Esther, what support would you need for that option, to make that option, a way forward? What support would you need?
Accountability. So I could easily pick out 2 people, but I would need to probably put aside the time and ensure that I'm able to talk to them and create those appointments to actually speak to them and get the feedback. So in terms of support, I'd like to have somebody check on me to say, oh, so.
So to use the word probably.
Probably. Probably meaning I would, okay, not probably, I would need somebody to hold me accountable to doing that.
So what would somebody holding you accountable mean for you?
That would mean probably getting the message midweek if we're supposed to have a feedback next or have another session next week in a week's time. So at least by the 3rd or 4th day of the week, I would like to have someone just send me a message or just a reminder to ask if is it not.
And what would happen if you had to rely on yourself to achieve that? What would happen?
I would probably do it. I wouldn't probably do it. I would, let me not use the word probably. I would make the appointment, but if anything happened, I probably might, as usual, put that above. So I can't rely on myself, but I feel like that's what will happen.
When you say I can't rely on myself, when you hear yourself say that, what's coming to you?
It just comes to speaking to like having 101 things that I would like to achieve, but prioritizing. So I know that I want to do it. I know that I need to do it. I would plan to do it and hope that I get a nudge in the right direction.
So what would hold you back?
My other timeline of duty that I have to do, things that are already pending that I haven't yet, I haven't done.
Is it that you haven't done them or you haven't planned to do them?
I haven't done them. I have plans to do them, but I haven't done them yet. So that's just like a thing to my list. I'm unable to, sometimes when you have the pressure of doing something, you will do it because you have to do it in like 2 days. But then sometimes I give myself, not you, I give myself that I will do it later, procrastination. So literally it's procrastination that's the big problem there. And time management.
From your pod, you always say what's important is about your strength. Recognizing your strength is helping you to appreciate and tap into it, and helping to give you more perspective. Okay, so let's hear from Antonia. Antonia, you said that feedback about who I am from people who are close to me. I will also have an accountability partner. Antonia, what support do you need to achieve this?
Okay, so I would love those who are close, who really know me and believe in me, to always charge me up, like send me messages, messages that will encourage me to want to discover myself and believe in myself. like affirmations. I will need those, and I will also love them to probably encourage me to go out, because I don't go out. I hardly go out. So sometimes even my daughter told me, "Oh, why do you lock yourself? Why do you lock yourself in?" So I can be in the house for the whole day, for the whole week, and I will not step out. So go out and take ownership of yourself. So like, I will need those affirmations. I will need those affirmations. Like, this is who you are. Again. So I need that. I need that support. I need that support. Not just getting it for myself, not just thinking about it, not just waiting to when I have sessions, but people who are around me, you know, I need that support.
Yeah. And how do those people know that you need that? How do they know?
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Like I said, feedback. There's someone I know that sometimes when she comes to me, I'll ask her, I said, "Can you just tell me genuinely,
okay,
who do you think I am? What do you know?" So yes, I will.
Yeah. And Chidima, I just want to ask you. Chidima said, I hope you're all looking at each other's comments in the pod, sorry, in the chat. We're able to pick up on the learning from that. I wanted to ask you, you know, you put introspection and track accomplishment. When you say introspection, Chidima, what do you mean?
Really just self-reflection. And, you know, I'd mentioned that it's something that I now know is my strength. And so I am willing to harness that strength to find out my other strengths. So one thing I'm going to do is to actively, you know, actively introspect, just reflect on past experiences, past accomplishments, and, you know, just find things that I seemingly find, you know how they say when you find a pattern, there's something there. So find patterns for success. And then, you know, for me, that's a way to know my strength.
When you find a pattern, there's something there. Okay. That's a great metaphor. What would stop you from, what would hold you back, like say, from doing that? From finding that pattern and, you know, looking for what's there.
So that will bring me to my second option, which is to actually track those accomplishments. The thing that will hold me back is if I do not track it. I know at this time, I don't know that I actively, you know, put down my accomplishments. And so sometimes when you're even trying to introspect, if there's nothing to, you know, to refer to that is written down, a lot of things, we think about a lot of things daily. I think about a lot of things daily, and it can just go away, and I'm not able to just track that. And so that's, you know, why I want to track my accomplishments, so that when I introspect, I have data to back my reflection, and I'm able to, you know, come up with those patterns and identify my strength.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I see you looking out, and then I see you looking in, and then I see you looking at the figures. Does that sound like what Chidima would do?
It does. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, it brings me to, again, it's not written down. So what I'm saying is in my head. So
it's in your head. It's in your head. Well, you want to track it. You want to make it legible so that you can look back on it. And thank you so much for that. And what's your self-reflection? That's to the point. Self-reflect on one word. Set up success metrics for change process. What's an accountant? I wonder whether you were thinking as an accountant when you wrote down set up success metrics for change process. Am I the only one feeling that that's an accountant speaking, or are we guessing? What's you? Can we hear from you? What support would you need, Matthew, to do more self-reflection? What support would you need?
All right, so it's sort of more or less like tracking how would I put it? Just to track, I mean, where you are presently, where you're coming from, and where you're going to. So technically, what I'm saying here is, you know, right now you're looking at where you are, but then you also want to be self-aware. You know the intention or your purpose, and you want to be self-aware. That means you need to be able to tick some boxes. And I mean, moving from stage 1 to stage 4. So what I'm trying to say in essence is the first thing that needs to be done is reflect, look back at what are those things and what are those actions you want to do. Then when you sit down, that is internal self-awareness firstly. Because you see the result, you also want to be able to act on it to change that perception. So when you look at that, you reflect on it, then that will be able to help you to be able to define some action point on, okay, what you want to do within the next 3 months or within the next 6 months to change that process. So I'm saying, when you, how do you get to that point? Is for you to put into the check. So, okay, so by this time in 3 months, I want to be able to take some action, get feedback from 3 people or 4 people. And I want to go back again in 3 months, get their feedback again. So you're starting to get the feedback initially to see what they think. And also after 3 months, you act on, you do some, although you can't change fully, but you also want to see what you could do. Another aspect, few things you could, change about what they see. What you think that it's not. So when you are reflecting, after 3 months, want to go back again and take that feedback. So that's why I said when you set up those success methods, you're able to see that change process. That's what I mean by my own action point here.
Yeah. I can see that you really got this into your planning of yourself. You're not even talking, 1 month. You're talking 3 months. You're talking metrics. You're talking. Look at the back at yourself. So, that's really, really good. And Sherry, you said get feedback. And you mentioned that even earlier. And Sherry, what support would you need to enable you to put that into action? In other words, one of your actions, Sherry, is improve on personal relationships. What support would you need to enable you to improve on personal relationships as one of the actions and options?
Okay, so for me, the support I would need in improving interpersonal relationship really would be, I would say having an accountability partner actually, because one thing about me is I'm sort of an introvert in the sense that I don't really put myself out there. So if I'm not out there, there's no way I can actually get the external self-awareness to see and rate myself. And since I'm trying to balance up my internal and external self-awareness and be able to be more aware, more self-aware, I really need to work on how I relate and how I interact with people. So the support I would need in improving my interpersonal relationship is having an accountability partner, having someone that can call me and say, okay, sure, what have you done today? How have you been able to relate with your colleagues? What step have you taken to relate with people outside of your workspace? Because yes, I have to relate with my colleague, I have to relate with people in my professional space, but outside of the professional space, what steps have you taken to relate with people? So that's need aspect.
Yeah, and it's interesting to hear about what support you need. It's even more interesting to hear that you've even broken down the sort of questions you want your accountability partner to be asking you. So you've almost got that in your head. Do you need an accountability partner? You already know what they're going to ask you. You've almost asked it of yourself. Do you really need an accountability partner, an external person?
Yes.
You do. Okay. That's part of being self-aware. And certainly last but not least, I just wanted to touch on what Owen said. And Owen, I saw your comment a moment ago. Let's see if I can find it now. Yes, Owen, create room for improvement. What support do you need, Owen, to create room for improvement?
Yes, I think I also need support in terms of reminders, like setting my calendars right, and also in terms of reminders, aside from probably needing someone that will remind me, I also need to be able to think of how, like, things I need to put in place to also remind myself, in terms of maybe creating my own self-calendar, and then also get reminders. Even if I don't see someone that will be able to do that for me. So I believe with that, I would be able to create room for improvement and also put things in action, not just saying, but be able to act on it. Yes, thank you.
I'm just curious to know, would you rely on technology for that? So how would you be able to, you said to set things in motion? Would it be somebody or would it be technology?
Yes, I'm going to use both. I'm going
both?
to rely on someone and also technology. So
Technology,
just
yeah.
trying to do the two together and know how it's
Yeah.
going to work well for me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I just want to thank you all for the insights you've shown today and how vulnerable you've been, how open you've been, and I want us just to revisit our learning outcomes. You know, when we started this, we said, you know, one of the learning outcomes, the big learning outcome really is identify areas of strength in relation to being a self-aware leader. And I'd just like to ask you, if you have any questions about it, do you feel that you were able to achieve that learning objective? If you were able, can I just see a green tick, please? Can I see a green tick? If it's a red, we can stay over and we can have some more time, but can I get some reactions on that objective? Okay, thank you, Antonia. I'm seeing, so anyone else? Any opinion from anyone else? Would you feel that you achieved your objective from the session today? Will it help you go a step further? Great, great. Thank you very much. All right, so we're going to go to evaluation now. This is the opportunity to tell us, you know, behind the scenes in a confidential way, how you found the session. I'm just going to hand over to Flourish. We're going to do the evaluation. Thank you.
Okay. Well done, Coach Patricia. That was such a wonderful session. So let's bring out our phone cameras. We can just point the camera to the screen and scan this QR code, and it takes us straight to the evaluation form where we can just fill it. Please let me know if you can scan it. Oluwaseun, can you scan it?
Yes, I can, Flourish. Thank you. I'm done.
Okay. Antonia, can you scan it, please? Hello, Antonia, can you hear me? Essie, how about you?
Yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. What's you?
Yeah, done.
Chidima,
Yes, done as well. Thank you, Flourish.
how about Buraola?
Done.
Yes, done.
How about Anthony?
I said done.
Oh, okay. Okay, then Oyidamola.
Yes, I'm done.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Over to you, Coach Patricia.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Just to make you aware that you have another session, and we're going to look at area for development in your next session. So, you know, with your self-awareness experience, learning about self-awareness, we look at strengths today, and we're going to look at area for development in your next session. And we're going to, this is because we really wanted to explore self-awareness, so we thought it would be good to divide it into two halves. And we'll be sending you out reminders as we always do. And I mean, all that really remains is for me to thank you so much for allowing this session to be recorded, for allowing yourself to be vulnerable, for giving others the opportunity to know that, hey, and good evening. Thank you.